everyone, welcome back to another coding challenge. The challenge name is acceptable sequence. So let's see the problem statement. So in this problem, you will be given a string containing letters and the plus and equal symbols. We need to return true if it is an acceptable sequence. Now what is an acceptable sequence? So in this case, an acceptable sequence should return true if each letter is surrounded by a plus symbol. So for example, if you see here, this A is not surrounded by plus, it is surrounded by nothing and equal sign. B is surrounded by left on the left side with equal sign, and with the right side the plus sign. It is also not acceptable sequence according to this problem, and C is also having the same thing. Therefore, if we pass such string, our function should return false. Wherein in the second case, where we have x, y, z, so x is surrounded by plus at both ends, y is also surrounded by plus, and z is also surrounded by plus. So to achieve this problem, we need to first check if the character that we are checking is an alphabet. We need to check if the character is an alphabet, or we can say a letter, because all are strings, so we need to find out whether which one is symbol and which one is an actual letter. And secondly, we need to check as a second part, we need to check it is surrounded by what. Is it surrounded by a plus sign? Okay, by a plus character. So in these two steps we need to achieve this problem. Okay, so first thing we need to check whether it's a letter or not. So how to check that? So let's first create some flag. So let flag equal to false, because we need to return something, so this will be our return value. So flag will be false initially. Okay, so how to check that? So let's write a for loop to first scan every character. So we will write a for let I equal to 0, basic for loop, anybody can write. I mean, you must have studied it already. And we are getting a sequence of characters. So if I can simply print this sequence, so this is the sequence we are receiving. So sequence I is less than sequence dot length I plus plus. Okay, so sequence is this one, the same thing that we passed here. Okay, now we need to first check here if it is a character or not. Okay, if it is character or not, how to check that? So we need to check if it is a letter. Which one is a letter? We need to check if the sequence of I is a letter or not. But letter is something a utility function I'm expecting, so it's not predefined in JavaScript, so we have to write it already. So let's create another function. This function is letter. This function will receive a character. I need to check whether it's a letter or not. So we need to return if it is a character. So how to check if something in a string is character or not? Let me write it down. If A as a string, oh my god, if A and A, they are not equal, so lowercase a and uppercase a, they are not equal, right? Similar for every letter, this is the same case. But in case of symbols, this plus and two lowercase of this plus and uppercase of this plus will be same. In this case, we can easily identify whether something provided in a string is a character, is a letter or not. The second way is to check the ASCII code, but I'm really very bad at remembering the ASCII code for every character. So this is another solution which will work perfectly fine for English, but it may create a problem if you are using Arabic or Chinese or Japanese or letters of those languages. So let's keep it simple for the coding interview. So what we can do, we can simply check and we can return this character dot to lowercase is not equal to this character dot to uppercase. If this is true, then we are sure that this is an alphabet, this is a letter, not a symbol. Okay, so in this case we will return true if it is A, B or C or whatever. In this case, if it is X, Y or Z, we will get as true. Now once we are sure that inside if we definitely get a character, we need to check whether it is surrounded by a plus sign. So how to check that? We need to check if sequence of I minus 1, the character before a character or alphabet or before a letter, is a plus sign, and the character after our alphabet is a plus sign. In this case, if it is true, then we need to set our flag. As true. This will return true if it is surrounded by a plus sign. Okay. If not, then outside our for loop we will return the flag, because if it will never come inside this, then we will return this value. Okay, so if we check the output, in this case it is returning true. Let me remove these comments. So let me remove this one as well and this one as well. Okay, so if you check what we are doing, we wrote a simple utility function to check whether the character is a letter or not. If it is a letter, then we are checking if it is surrounded by a plus sign or not. If it is, then we are setting the flag as true, because this particular operator will return a boolean. Okay, and we are anyway setting our flag. So in this case, if you check the sequence for the X, it will come here, it is surrounded by plus, then Y, then Z, and similarly like that. So that's the simplest problem, but it requires a lot of the key thing an interviewer will check, that how will you determine whether the character is a letter or not, what logic you are going to write to identify whether it's a letter or not. This is the main thing an interviewer will check. So this is a very basic condition, a very basic logic. You can tell him that this is the easiest way to identify this, if character is a letter or not. So that's it for now, and see you in the next one. Thank you very much.